The story of Beau Greaves, the greatest female darts player who ever lived, and the truth she said out loud that the whole sport is trying to bury. A 114-match winning streak, a win over world champion Luke Littler, the first woman to win a professional ranking title. And still, she said, women will never beat the top men, and the two should be separate. This covers her rise, the hard numbers behind the gap, the science the sport commissioned itself, and who profits from a fantasy the data does not support. Beau Greaves grew up in Doncaster, picking up her first dart at just 10 years old. Born on January 9, 2004, she quickly became the most dominant force women's darts has ever produced. Before turning 21, she had already captured 3 consecutive WDF Women's World Championships. But her run in the PDC Women's Series went far beyond ordinary standards. Between April 2025 and March 2026, Greaves put together an unprecedented 114-match winning streak, playing 114 consecutive matches without a single defeat. Amassing over 55 series titles, she created an era of total control. Former world champion Dieter Hedman summarized the feeling of the entire field, stating that when Greaves turns up, everyone else is simply playing for second place. She was so good she was invited to face the men on the biggest stage in the sport. Then she did something nobody expected. She said no. In July 2024, Greaves defeated Fallon Sherrock 6-3 at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool to win the Women's World Match Play. That victory guaranteed her a place at the PDC World Championship at Alexandra Palace, the grandest stage in professional darts. But she turned it down. Her reasoning was blunt. She argued that men's and ladies' darts should remain entirely separate, stating that no woman will ever go to Alexandra Palace and win it. To believe otherwise, she argued, was simply silly. This decision did not stem from false modesty or a lack of drive. It was the sport's most dominant woman refusing its biggest stage because she rejected a false narrative of parity. Her choice divided the darts community, drawing intense scrutiny from those who believed she was limiting the potential of the female game. Critics said she was underselling herself. Then she walked on stage against the world champion himself, and what happened made her point for her. In October 2025, at the World Youth Championship semi-final in Wigan, Beau Greaves stepped onto the stage to face the reigning world champion, Luke Littler. The match pushed both players to their limit, culminating in a dramatic last leg decider. Greaves produced an 11-dart leg and sealed a 6-5 victory with an 84 checkout, becoming the first woman to reach the tournament final. Greaves finished the match with a 3-dart average of 105 to Littler's 107.4. In darts, an average describes scoring output rather than every part of a match, and on this night her scoring was world class. Littler praised her performance afterwards, writing, "Fair play to Beau, all the best in Minehead, some talent." But mistaking this single upset for sustained parity overlooks the broader reality of professional darts. It took an extraordinary performance to edge a single match, whereas elite male players produce those 3-digit averages consistently, week after week. One incredible night is not a career. When the raw numbers are lined up, the gap Greaves talks about becomes a question of math rather than opinion. The true measure of performance is the 3-dart average. Total points scored divided by darts thrown multiplied by 3. While Fallon Sherrock holds the highest televised women's average at 101.55, Peter Wright holds the men's broadcast record at 123.5. This 22-point gap represents the extreme ends of the sport, though they occurred under different competitive conditions. A single peak, like Greaves's 105 average in her 6-5 victory over Luke Littler, shows what is possible on any given night, but does not guarantee sustained success over longer matches where checkout percentages, leg lengths, and opponent quality test consistency. The performance gap appears in multi-session tournament play. At the UK Open, Greaves built a 7-4 lead against Luke Humphries before losing 10-7. At the Grand Slam, she led Michael van Gerwen 4-2 before losing 5-4, and fell by the same score to Gary Anderson. These matches prove she can challenge the best, yet she sits at 77 in the world rankings. Without the separate women's series acting as a dedicated qualification pathway, top female players would rarely reach major open events. Sherrock's 2019 World Championship breakthrough showed what is possible, but her narrow qualification misses in the years since highlight how difficult sustained access remains. Fans scream darts is not even physical, so how can men have any advantage? The sport asked that exact question, commissioned a scientist, and got a result they did not know what to do with. To investigate this performance gap, the Darts Regulation Authority commissioned developmental biologist Dr. Emma Hilton to conduct a scientific review. Her report concluded that darts is a gender-affected sport under Section 195 of the Equality Act, 2010, leading to a new eligibility policy effective April 9th, 2026. The findings did not reveal a single overwhelming biological barrier. Instead, the study identified several small physiological factors that accumulate to create a consistent male advantage. These include grip stability, motor control under fatigue, throwing mechanics, and spatial processing. While these population-level differences do not dictate the outcome of any individual leg, and while the report itself notes limitations in its sample size, they suggest the elite-level gap cannot be dismissed as a product of opportunity alone. Yet presenting this science opens a deeper conflict. Does professional darts want to confront the data it commissioned, or is there more profit in marketing a fantasy? If the best woman in the world and the science both point toward the same pattern, why does coverage insist the gap is closing? Follow the money. When Fallon Sherrock defeated a male competitor on the global stage in 2019, the sport discovered a highly profitable marketing engine. The victory generated massive viral coverage, translating into international talk show bookings, magazine features, and a major sponsorship with Red Bull. This commercial success taught promoters that a woman defeating a man sells far better than a perfect 9-dart finish. Broadcast packages repeatedly feature these rare, historic upsets, while routine women's victories and everyday defeats receive almost no attention. This selective coverage is exactly why Beau Greaves has called for a dedicated Ladies World Championship. Greaves argues that a parallel elite pathway would relieve female players of the constant pressure to defeat men simply to establish professional legitimacy. For her, separate competition offers a genuine, sustainable career path, presenting a level of sporting honesty that commercial broadcasts choose to ignore. Admitting this performance gap exists is not the insult many claim it to be. What holds women's darts back may be far more practical and far more fixable than the scoreboard suggests. Acknowledging that female players struggle to match elite male averages is not a dismissal of the women's game. The real inequality lies in the financial structure of the sport. Across her dominant women's series season, Beau Greaves earned a record £37,600. On a single night at the World Championship, Luke Littler pocketed a £1 million payout. This gap represents a structural division in economic opportunity, not a measure of raw talent. While the women's series offers flat prize money, it lacks the direct access to major ranking events that determines official world standings and long-term career viability. True respect requires a fully funded women's circuit with meaningful financial rewards and a visible professional pathway, rather than feeding its best players into a losing battle and calling that equality. A talented 15-year-old girl picking up a dart today needs a future where she does not have to throw an impossible 3-dart average of 115 just to survive. Real. Change is built through financial investment, not marketing slogans. The greatest woman who ever played says, "Stop pretending." The numbers agree. The science agrees. The only question left is what you do with the truth. Beau Greaves has already proven she can perform at the highest level of the sport. Her victory over Luke Littler, her historic professional ranking title in Milton Keynes, and her perfect 9-dart finish on the Pro Tour show a player of historic talent. Yet, she maintains that women will never regularly beat the top men. Many argue this stance ignores a massive developmental divide. Only a fraction of professional players are women. If female competitors received equal investment in coaching academy structures and sustained exposure to elite competition, that performance gap might shrink. Greaves herself is only 22, with her ultimate ceiling still unknown. Perhaps the issue is not biological capability, but rather whether the institutions running the sport will ever build a platform that allows women to reach their full potential. The best woman in the history of darts says, "The women's game needs its own championship and will never beat the top men." Is she telling a hard truth the sport refuses to hear? Or has a rigged structure convinced her to settle for less? Let me know in the comments. Darts now faces a defining choice. The real battle isn't on the board, but in the bank. True equality demands systemic investment, not marketing illusions. Until the sport funds a genuine professional pathway, we will never know what female players can truly achieve.